Hello there makers and bakers. Today we have a fondant ice pumpkin cupcake tutorial. We have a pumpkin spice cupcake that we are going to very gently unwrap from its wrapper and start to mold the cupcake into a pumpkin shape. I'm just indenting the top here for where the stem will be, just to create a bit more shape in the top of our pumpkin, and pressing down the bottom so we don't have any sharp edges. Once you're happy with your mini pumpkin shape, set your cupcake aside. Taking some orange fondant, we want to work that through with our hands until it's soft and pliable. Sprinkle some corn flour onto your surface, and then taking our fondant, we're going to place it into the corn flour, making sure it won't stick, and putting a tiny bit on top if you feel like you need to. We're then going to roll out our fondant to approximately 3 millimeters thick, turning our fondant if we need to make sure we have an even layer. We're now going to take a mixture of jam and water that has been boiled and paint our cupcake all the way around, right down to the bottom. Make sure you have enough jam on the layer not to have the cupcake soggy, but we do definitely need our fondant to stick correctly. Working quite quickly with our fondant, we're going to place it over the top of our cupcake, pressing down the indent in the top of our cake, and then gently working our hands around the outside of the cupcake, pushing in slightly towards the bottom of the cupcake to create a defined line as to where we need to cut the excess icing off. At the same time as doing this, you'll be using your hands to gently smooth the cupcake over. We're now going to cut the excess icing off, being very careful not to cut too close to the base of the cupcake, as we need a little bit of a rim to fold underneath the cupcake. We're just going to take our hands now and push that rim under the cupcake, working it around in a circular motion, at the same time smoothing the icing as well. Continue to work your cupcake in your hands, smoothing very gently, using the palm of your hand to create a nice cover with the fondant. If there's any lumps and bumps, it's okay with a pumpkin. That's quite a natural look in a pumpkin. If you are wanting it very smooth though, just continue to work until you have the desired effect that you'd like. I'm now taking my balling tool and just gently pressing in the top of the cupcake to create that indent a little bit more than what we had after smoothing our icing. And using a couple of scrapers, or you could use your smoothers, because it's quite small, you need something that can get right underneath the cupcake, and just smooth those edges off underneath and push them under the cupcake a little bit more. Taking your skewer, you want to place it at the base of the cupcake and gently pull it up and over into segments to create the lines in our pumpkin. Work some dark green fondant until it's soft and pliable, ready to make our stem. Gently work your fondant into a ball shape and then into a cylinder shape, working towards a cone. Once you have your cone shape, you want to take a sharp knife and cut the end off to the length that you think would be best for your cupcake. Taking a skewer, we're going to run it along the length of our cone, just to give it some more detail on the stem. Take a small amount of water, and place it in the indent in our pumpkin. Then take your stem, place that in and curl it over to the desired shape that you would like for your pumpkin stem. You can have it standing up or you can have it bent over like mine. Work some light green fondant until soft and pliable. We're going to be using this for the vine that is around the stem of the pumpkin. Roll that out until it's the desired thickness for your cupcake. Trying to make the ends of the vine a little bit more pointy, like they would be if you were to see them in real life. And then cut your pieces of fondant up into manageable pieces for the size of your cupcake. I had quite a small cupcake, so I needed a thin vine and not too bigger pieces to be able to wrap around my cupcake. Using a small amount of water to adhere the vine, you just want to place it into the base of the stem and then wrap it around how you would like it to wrap. The vine will naturally start to curl, which is great for a pumpkin because that's what they look like. Just wander it around until you have found the place that you'd like it to sit. Taking some green fondant, we're going to roll that out using our corn flour, quite thin as this will be used for our leaves. Choose the cutter that you would like to use to make your leaves, press that down into the fondant, give it a shake around so you don't have any tiny bits of fondant hanging off the leaf. Rub it on the palm of your hand. This also helps to get rid of any tiny pieces. Mine has an imprint, so I'm going to press that down and then press it out. Taking a sharp knife, I'm going to cut off a tiny piece of the leaf to use as our pumpkin leaf. Just going to press in that area that I cut to make sure there's no little pieces flying away. And I've just put some paper towel under my stem. It's a tiny bit heavy, but I didn't want to put anything inside the pumpkin to make sure that it was standing up. Here I am cutting slits into our leaf just to make them look a little bit more like a leaf, and working out where I'd like to place it. Tiny bit of water and sticking that one on. Being very gentle to make sure we don't crush anything. Same again with this next leaf. Going to cut slits into the leaf and then place it where I'd like it to go onto our cupcake. Here we have our pumpkin cupcake. Thank you for watching our tutorial.